4 to 6 podcasts every week, educational webinars, articles, marketing. One person keeps moving between all of them. Her work crosses roofing, metal, coatings, outdoor, and more. Different industries, one purpose: help contractors learn about new products, initiatives, and technologies. Karen Edwards works with the coffee shops, directs the RT3 Think Tank, writes for GAF RoofViews, and leads Casimir Group. 10 years ago, she started Casimir Group as a single mother with a daughter in college. Exciting, terrifying, and anything but guaranteed. Would there be enough work? Could she pay the bills? Would anyone want her help? She never had to make those calls. People in the industry showed up, and the relationship she had built helped her business succeed. Today, she uses her experience to help others succeed. That response left her with a lasting belief. Relationships aren't a side benefit of the work. They're what make the work possible. Ladies, gents, pull up a chair. This one is about risk, relationships, and moving an industry forward. Karen, welcome to the tie-in.
Karen Edwards, Keith Bilous, and John Kiesel. Welcome.
Hey, it's so great to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Glad to have you here. So, John, this is my cue to get out of the way for an awesome conversation with you and Karen, and I'll pop back here in a few minutes. But, John, over to you, my friend. Let's tee it up with Karen Edwards.
All right, let's do this, Karen. I'm super excited, and thank you again. We're just going to ask you a few questions here. Nothing you haven't experienced, I'm sure, but just being on that side of this conversation may be a little bit different. But I just want to start with, your day-to-day spans 4 to 6 podcasts a week, educational seminars, the RT Think Tank, industry writing, marketing across roofing, metal, coatings, and outdoor. Why have you chosen to work across so many lanes? And what does the range allow you to see that narrower roles would not?
That's an interesting question. I obviously started focused entirely on roofing, right? The roofing industry. And that's still a big chunk of what I do and my involvement. But being a part of the coffee shops, really the industries have seen what we've been able to do. And that's why we've expanded into some of those other industries. In terms of metal, the metal industry, Sherwin-Williams was a big proponent of, they provide the coil coatings for much of the metal and metal roofs that go on. And they said, we love this model so much. We want to bring it to the metal industry. We want to be providing that education, providing the resources that contractors need to be successful in adding metal to their business. And they're like, let's start one for metal. And then the coatings and waterproofing and those industry, they saw what we were doing and they said, we need that for our industry. And so it just has grown from there. And one of the things that it's really interesting to see that it's a slightly different industry, but the issues, the challenges are the same. It doesn't matter if you're installing a basketball court, tennis courts in a park, or you're installing roofs. You're still a contractor with the same challenges that someone in roofing has. So it's been really interesting to see and seeing that these other industries are much like roofing in that they're tight knit, right? You feel like you're getting to know friends and family when we're learning more about these different industries. That's one of the things I love most about the roofing industry too, is, look, we've been friends for how long now? And Steve Little's been a good friend of mine for how long? It's just, you build these relationships and friendships that mean so much.
I couldn't have said it any better, honestly. I mean, I was on Roofing Coffee Shop. I think it's going to air, I think the first week, the contractor of the month, and having a conversation with Megan. And she said, well, what does Roofing Coffee Shop meant to you? I was like, it's meant like a family in the industry. I mean, we're looking out for each other. We're excited to see people win. We're excited to see great things happen. So we really wrap our arms around somebody trying hard and has something that we can help build out, so they don't have to wait and struggle for such a long time to get to where they want to go. So I think as an industry, the roofing industry is, like we say, the tie-in to all the other industries, instead of it maybe being the other way around. So the great framework, it fits into just about anything in our industry. So I love that you have that.
Yeah. Congrats on being Roofer of the Month.
Yes, it was such an honor. And you just do the right things, and people seem to pay attention to that and want to be around it. So we just try to do the right things. That's just the bottom line, right?
100%. Yeah.
So, Karen, so when you started Casimir Group, you were a single mother with a daughter in college and no certainty that enough work would come.
Right?
How did you make the decision while those fears were still real? And what did the experience teach you about taking on a professional risk?
It's a funny story because I had left where I was. There was an acquisition, and it was time for me to go. And I had a little bit of time, and my daughter had just she had the summer off, and we had done some traveling, and then I had to figure out what am I going to do. And I wasn't sure, but I guess word had gotten around that, I was no longer at the company that I was at. And I had someone reach out to me and say, "What are you doing now?" And I said, "I don't know. I'm looking at jobs, right? I'm looking at job postings," which that sucks. Sorry. But it does. And they said, "I could use a little help with this. Could you help me out?" And I was like, "Sure. Yeah, I've got time. I can do that." And then someone else said, "Wait, you're working over here now? Well, I could use some help too." And so I was like, I don't know. I don't want to start my own business, right? I like that security of a paycheck, of benefits, of all those things that, kind of provide a little comfort. And as a single mother with a child in college, money was not plentiful. Um, and a good friend of mine, Heidi Ellsworth, you're going to have her on this show sometime in the future. She sent me a quote, and it was Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., and it was along the lines of, "You don't have to see the whole staircase to take that first step." And I printed that out, and I put it on my desk at home, and I said, "All right, I'm gonna set up an LLC with the state and see what happens." And I put it out on LinkedIn, said, "Hey, I just started, my own business, and I had someone that I used to work with that was now somewhere else contact me and said, 'Really? Oh my gosh, I need your help doing this, this, and this.'" And it just kept coming. And it was really just a good feeling, right? I never once had to pick up the phone and look for work. It just happened. And what's been great about it is the range of everything that I do. One of my first customers was a contractor in Texas. They had just gotten started and they needed some marketing help. So I did a marketing plan. I got them their social media up and running. I helped with their website, press releases. So, just really got them the ball rolling. They eventually got
Wow.
to a point where they could hire someone in house and they
Right.
didn't need me anymore. So, I moved on to the next. So just being able to provide that is it's wonderful feeling. And then to make a living doing it, it's even more wonderful.
Well, you heard it, and I love this story. And I think we have the what if segment coming up here, and we're going to come back here in a few minutes and rejoin the conversation. Let's roll.
What if you could build a re-roof estimate without wondering what you missed?
Nobody gets everything on the first trip. You measure the roof, get back to the office, realize you forgot a curb, a drain, or rooftop equipment, then you're driving back out.
And every extra trip costs time. Worse yet, if you miss something in the takeoff, you own it.
So what's different? A drone isn't writing the estimate.
No, but it gives me everything I need to write a better one. A complete 3D digital twin. Accurate point cloud measurements, every penetration, every curb, every edge, every piece of rooftop equipment. If I have a question, I don't drive back. I rotate the building on my screen.
So it's really about having better information.
Exactly. Better information leads to better takeoffs. Better takeoffs lead to better scopes. Better scopes lead to better bids. When you're working from complete, accurate data, you're not guessing. You know.
And knowing beats hoping every time.
The contractor with the best information is usually the contractor in the best position to win. That's what Optelos delivers. That's the what if.
Keith and John and Karen live on the tie-in brought to you by Elevate. Hey, John, so we're going to cook and Karen, we're going to dig into a little bit of the what if segment for a quick second. We'll come back to Karen Edwards. John, so that was an interesting segment. Tell me what if you had Optelos as part of the business? John Kiesel.
It turns a toy into a tool. You take the imagery, you get imagery up on a roof. That's where our work is, up in the air. The drone imagery turns into a useful piece of information that doesn't get lost. It doesn't forget. and it's fact. So we like to have those static data points to base multi-million dollar bids on. So that's the what if.
Awesome. Go learn more about Uptelos, you guys. We're going to be featuring Uptelos as part of our What If segment every Thursday live on the tie-in with Keith, John, Steve, and Ryan. But today we got Karen Edwards hanging out with John Kiesel with Roof Talk with Blair Sutton. So I'm going to get back out of here and let you guys continue this wonderful conversation, John, as we get to know Karen Edwards.
All right, let's get back after it. Karen, the next question. A large part of your work is helping contractors understand new products, initiatives, and technology. When you build that education, how do you decide what contractors genuinely need to know and how it should be presented?
That's a great question. And one of the things that I love with the coffee shops model is the read, listen, watch, right? Because people learn differently. Some people like to read, some people like to listen to podcasts or whatever, others like to watch a video. So most of the educational content is presented in all those formats. So someone can consume it how they want. Um, as for what people need to know, we do a trend survey every year, and we ask contractors, what do you want more of? Like, I need more information about technology. I need more information. We look at where they're facing challenges, right? Recruitment, retention, obviously new products, new solutions, things that are time saving, labor saving, high performing. What's the newest thing out there in the industry? Because manufacturers every day are looking at ways to make things better, right? Implement different technologies. And technology to me it's not always software or computer related, right? Like there's self-adhering technology that we're seeing on products nowadays. There's moisture monitoring abilities that some systems have. So all of these, I think that as a contractor, it's a big world, it's a big country, and you're doing your day to day in your service area, in your community, and you're just doing what you always do. And so making it easy for a contractor to get the information on the newest or latest technologies or strategies that are working, like for recruitment or retention, that's really important because I think it's easy to feel kind of alone and there's not a lot of support out there for you. So that's kind of how we approach the information and the education that we are delivering for the industry.
And that's 100% true story because, me being a member of RT3, and I'll never forget when I first joined the RT3 group and the family. It was really, really refreshing because nobody claims to know everything. Everybody that's part of it understands that there's more to learn, especially me, even though it's been close to 40 years in this industry. Every time I look through that window, I see a chance to learn more. And that's what embodies, I think, the RT3 group is explore, communicate, understand, and figure out the ways that we can make things integrate a little bit better or expand on other ways of looking at it. And I've seen the shows and I've been a part of the shows where you have somebody in a robotic device in the masonry industry.
Yeah.
No, we don't do masonry, but it still was applicable. So let's talk about it. So I love that. And that's a great part of being in the RT3 community. It's very open-minded and it's a great group. So through RT3, you help bring technology, resources, education to the roofing industry. You said technology is something the industry has not fully figured out. Where is the real gap? And what do contractors need to make technology useful in their daily work?
I wish I had the answer to that question,
Good
John.
question, huh?
It is a challenge, right? Especially in today, right? With AI, with the rapid pace of technology, and our challenge is trying to help contractors understand where they are, right, in their business maturity, what and understanding what questions to ask, like simple as that. If you're talking to a vendor, what questions should I be asking about this software or this technology that I'm going to bring into my business?
Yes.
Because they're going to tell you whatever you want to hear, and they're going to promise the world, right? So that's one of the things that we try to do through RT3. Now, as a 501c6 organization, right, we're kind of like Switzerland. We're not going to recommend a platform over another, but we are going to talk about what's out there. We do have a section on our website that has resources, that has a business maturity guide, that has definitions of what different software and technology is, and how most people use them, and what questions to ask and things to consider as you scale your business. In fact, we're meeting tomorrow, the team, just to review, because things change, right? So we've got to make sure our information is up to date. We have a podcast where we bring folks on who have new solutions, and and I always like to, if it's a technology provider, I always ask if they have a contractor they can bring with them who's using that solution, so we can hear it from the contractor. Because, like I
Love
said,
it.
they'll tell you whatever you want to hear because they want to sell you that service. So yeah, I think that's really important. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that our Innovator of the Year award is open. John is
Let's go.
the winner. Yep, he's a past recipient because he definitely is innovating in roofing every day. We're accepting applications through September 30th, of contractors. And I tell you, we say technology is a problem, but there are a lot of contractors out there who are innovating and making cool solutions for their businesses. And we need to share those stories.
Every roof you look up at started down here. Racks, pallets, paperwork, long before the crew ever gets to it.
The tie-in doesn't just cover the crew, it covers the trade. Warehouse to weld, spec to seam. Subscribe.
We go. All right, we're tuning it up with Keith, John, and Karen live on the tie-in presented by Elevate. John, you guys are getting after it quite well here. We are in the final segment with our guest here today. So, John, let's keep going, man. Q5, question 5 for Karen. Throwing it back to you. Let's work towards the debrief. The meaning of the last 10 minutes hanging out with Karen this morning. Karen Edwards, John Kiesel.
All right. I love that last segment before we went to the break. We have to pay the bills, Karen.
Right, I
This is a
understand.
beautiful show, and we have great guests on it, so we have to pay those bills. So thank you for bearing with us on that. So you said one of the industry's greatest strengths is the network people build inside of it. When you launched Casimir Group, people offered you work without being asked. What creates that level of trust, and how can roofing professionals build it before they need it?
Great question.
Yes.
I tell you, one of the things that helped me is getting involved, right? Showing up. One of the first industry associations that I was a part of, probably back in 2010, was the Florida Roofing and Sheet Metal Contractors Association. And I got involved, got on the board, chaired their communications and PR committee for several years, right? And built those relationships. These people became my friends. And you're my friend, right? Steve Little's
Right.
my friend. And it's from showing up. It's from, being part of RT3, being part of NRCA, going to roofing day, right? Going to the trade shows, participating and volunteering. And because I think I have done that for so many years, that's created that network that when people heard, oh, hey, Karen's available. Oh, wow. Yeah, I know her. I trust her. I know she's going to show up and do what's asked and deliver the goods, right? So to speak. And so I recommend highly that you join your roofing association, whether that's your state or regional, definitely NRCA. John, you're even way more involved now in NRCA and the association world. And I think, it's created that network for you too.
Well, yeah, when you have connections to people that are all, rowing sort of in the same direction, the oars are hitting the water at the same time, you start to gain traction, and it does take that consistency, right? So we see somebody approaching maybe DC Day for the first time. It's like, yeah, we really like you. Let's have a conversation. You see them there a second year, you see them the third year. It's like, okay, so now we have some consistency. Let's build on that. Let's take the relationship to another level.
Yeah, I have friends all across the country that at any minute, if I had a question or needed something, I could send a text or or make a phone call, and they're there.
Absolutely. So you've built a network around helping others succeed while moving the industry forward. Where did that sense of responsibility come from?
Yeah.
How would you encourage roofing professionals to turn their own sense of purpose into useful action?
Love
This
that.
is a big one.
Yeah.
It is a big one, but I'm a big believer in what you put out to the universe, you get back, right, tenfold. You'll see if you're connected with me on LinkedIn, I share good news stories all the time, right?
That's right.
I think that our industry as a whole it's such a great industry with such great people in it that we need to tell the story more. Because for a very long time, roofing, the reputation is kind of like, roofing, who wants to work in the roofing industry? And everyone should want to work in the roofing industry because it's a great place to work. And if I can contribute to elevating that industry, then I need to do that. And it's what drives me. I'm really passionate about it. I think about, I was talking about associations earlier, National Women in Roofing, right? One of their things that they do is mentorship and elevating the industry and helping others. And it's just the right thing to do, right? And then
That's right.
you're going to get paid back tenfold.
And Karen, it's not if you can contribute to the roofing industry. You contribute to the roofing industry all day, every day.
Hey, John, Karen said something. Karen, I'm going to go off script for a quick little second because you said
Sure.
something that struck me, and you said showing up. Showing up is so hard for people to do on a regular basis. What does showing up mean to Karen Edwards?
It means being there, right? Go to the event, go to the meeting,
Mhm.
even if it's virtual, right? Maybe you
Even if
can't
you
go
don't
in
want to,
person.
right? Like the power of
Even if
you.
you don't want to. I can't tell you how many times, like, I have to go to this show again, right? And I go, and I'm so glad I did because I got to see people I hadn't seen for a while. I
Yeah.
got to learn about what's new in the industry. So just be there, show up.
Yeah. Johnny, some closing comments for Karen as we're wrapping up with you. John, closing comments for Karen.
I learned something during this conversation today, and I've known you for quite a few years now. And hopefully, the people that stay tuned to this and subscribe to the channel, or at least give us a like on this thing, we can help carry these stories forward and create that tie-in. Like that's why we named the show. We're tying the people that are working in it to the people that need to hear it, and that's our mission here. So thank you, because I think that you've definitely provided a tie-in resource for people to understand RT3 is out there, be a part of it. And the more people that are a part of it, the better our chances are of coming up with great solutions.
Yeah, coming up, we're celebrating somebody above the line in a couple of minutes before we walk Karen Edwards out of here. Karen, how can folks connect with you, find you, engage with you, learn about showing up from Karen Edwards? How can folks find you?
Wow. Find me over at the coffee shop, right? Karen at rooferscoffeeshop.com. My other ones, I have to spell it out. It's a little too long. Connect with me on LinkedIn. My profile, Karen L. Edwards. Or info at RT3thinktank.com.
Awesome.
So if you didn't know, now you know.
Yeah.
There you go. Karen Edwards, Keith Bilous, John Kiesel, live on the tie-in presented by Elevate. Karen, thanks for hanging out with us today.